What up, y'all? This is Gun signing into 6 Days of Snow. Now, what this is a visual novel that I found on Steam. It looked interesting because it looked interesting to me, anyways. So about what it's about is wow. Hold on, I need. All right, geez, that was loud. That was loud. Not gonna lie, that was loud. Anyways, hold on. Transition, all on, skip, okay. Okay, we're back. Okay, sorry about that. This game is about a inn that's in the middle base, it's in a secluded area, apparently. Oh, excuse me, I think I might be getting a little sick. Crap! No, I don't want to be sick! Copy. But this is a game about, as I said before, a secluded inn in the middle of nowhere, I guess. And apparently we're staying 6 days there or something like that. I don't know. Let's get on it, shall we? It looked the first day. The first day. It was a dark night, and the snow was falling thick and heavy beyond the windows of the car. Everything was pure white, like a saucer of milk had been upended over the earth. It looked pretty. At least, it did when observed from within the confines of the taxi, but I felt a surge of sympathy for whoever might be outside on such a night. The snow can be unforgiving, especially on a mountain like this. Why else would there be so many stories about strange, pale-skinned women that lure unexpected men to their icy graves? I believe that would be called snow women, or snow fairies, something like that. In a remote place like this, how long would it take before anybody uncovered your corpse? A day? 2 days? A whole week? Perhaps a month? Being a writer, I couldn't help but ponder such morbid things, though I admit, crime fiction has never been my forte. It's always been my belief that there is enough unpleasantness in real life. We hardly need fabricated anymore. Sachiko says that's because I'm sentimental. Apparently it's one of my better qualities. Sachiko says some sentiment manifests itself in my eyes. Okay, so we're very, very sentimental, if our own very own friend, if that's who Sachiko is telling us. But okay, I have unusually pale eyes. My wife has quite a way with words. I sometimes think her talents are wasted as a wife and mother, when she might have an untapped acumen for storytelling. Cuban, maybe. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. She's certainly good at gossiping with the other women who attend art classes with her every Wednesday. Sachiko, however, always blushes and shakes her head whenever I suggest this, even as a gentle joke. She says she's more than happy looking after me and our 2 sons. Searching for any greater purpose in her life would be presumptuous. I appreciate it. I suppose, but I wouldn't mind if she had a touch more ambition beyond preparing the perfect bowl of miso soup in the mornings. Not that Sachiko's miso soup is anything to be sneezed at. That was one of the things I was going to miss the most, I thought, as the car drove on through the night. Sachiko's miso soup. I've never had miso soup. I wonder how that actually tastes. But alright, the miso soup at the Azami Inn would be perfectly fine, I was sure, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be Sachiko's. This might sound awfully prosaic, but when food has been prepared by the hands of a woman who loves you and has loved you for 25 years, ooh, good on ya, buddy! Good on ya! 25 years, that's a great job. It acquires special properties you can't find anywhere else. Maybe that's the best definition of marital bliss, being able to enjoy breakfast together every morning with a small shared smile, despite not having all that much to talk about. It's a comfortable humdrum kind of existence, I suppose. But the further I ascended into the mountains, the more it began to slip away. Well, that ain't good. With each and every mile, I covered, the further away my banal life with Sachiko seemed. Soon the smell details, the taste of her miso soup, the pseudo-religious watering of our much-beloved What? Bougainvilleas? Sometimes I run with the words I have no clue how to pronounce, or even the meaning of that. Like that, I either know the meaning of that, or the pronunciation of that. And the preventing smell of soup began to slip away. I must confess, I was not awfully sorry to be saying farewell to any of it. It wasn't that I did not care for Sachiko, because I did. I still do. We had fallen into a rut, that was all. That was all. We had grown too accustomed to one another, and perhaps I was taking Sachiko and her miso soup for granted. Why not your children? Why aren't you taking them for granted? Don't do that. I don't even know why I said that one. It's hard to appreciate somebody when you see them every single day, and you recite the same pleasantries to them, and they repeat the same pleasantries back. It's too predictable. I'm not gonna be honest. That can get a little boring, especially how it sounds. It would be like playing shogi while being able to read your opponent's moves 5 turns in advance. Where's the fun in that? Shogi is basically Japanese chess, if you guys don't know what that is. Though I really haven't played very much myself. And to put it another way, our daily routine had become far too familiar, to the extent that it was almost painful. I wasn't trying to run away from Sachiko, I told myself. That wasn't it. I just needed a change of pace. I wanted to remind myself how much my wife meant to me. I wanted to remind myself why I loved her. I was journeying away from my wife so I could learn to miss her again, which would hopefully make our eventual reunion all the more sweeter. Okay, I guess that works. You gotta spice things up a little somehow, right? After giving it some thought, I decided upon the perfect location wherein I could ruminate on my marriage. Okay, like I said, you gotta spice things up a little bit. You gotta change things up a little bit, or else it literally is just gonna be day in and day out, just nothing but boringness. Yeah, you're gonna love the person, but there's just gonna be no interest into it anymore. That would be the snow-capped mountains in Hakuba, more than half an hour away from human civilization. That S is supposed to be a Z, but oh well. There would be no people at the Azumi Inn to disturb my solitude, just the snow and the stars. Okay, and that was fine by me. I almost don't think this is gonna turn out too well for the guy. The young boy driving the taxicab hummed under his breath a song I did not know and tapped his fingers against the wheel. "We're almost there," he said, and turned to me and smiled. The darkness obscured much of his face, but I could see the reassuring gap-toothed grin. Yeah, one of his front teeth was missing. I thought it rude to ask why, so I didn't comment, but I couldn't stop myself from fabricating stories. "How far is it now?" I asked him, hugging my trunk a little closer to my chest. "You hug that trunk, buddy. You gotta miss your wife." Sachiko had helped me pack before my departure. I told her she needn't have bothered, but she was insistent. Despite being such a quiet, retiring woman, Sachiko can be awfully insistent about the most mundane of things. When your life kind of got a little bit boring like that, they need a little bit of persistence for mundane things, right? Not too far now," said the boy. The boy might be a touch demanding, as he must have been in his early 20s. 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe 5, accounting for traffic. Traffic. What traffic? We're in the middle of a freaking mountain path. That was probably supposed to be a joke. We hadn't passed a single car during the journey from the train station. Oh, now I can get it. Now I get it. I must admit, I was a bit relieved. The road was so poorly lit, any oncoming cars would have spelt disaster. Yeah, especially if you're in that kind of area. I mean, like, if it's that snowy of an area, there's a very big chance that you're gonna fall on a mountain. And that's not where you want to be. Alright, it's not like you need to get there in a hurry, is it? Asked the boy. What are you doing up here, up near Hakuba, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, I don't mind at all, I said politely. I'm a writer. I thought going somewhere remote would help me focus, generate a few ideas, that kind of thing. Ooh, an author. He whistled and sounded genuinely impressed. Written anything I'd know? I doubt it. I'm not well known by any means, but I make enough to pay the bills. Well, what more can a man ask for? I'm not too world-wise, but that sounds like a success story to me. Darn right it does. Not many people who want to be authors make so much as a penny. Now that's quite true. That's very true. And the same goes for entertainers. Yeah, I suppose so. I said, running a hand through my hair. Sometimes I forget. I have a lot to be thankful for. Don't get sick! And what kind of things do you write? Newspaper articles? Journalism? I write real-life stories. Some poetry. And I released a novel a couple of years ago, too. A novel, is it? He said and whistled again. Now that is fancy. I could be faring around the next Olga Mori. That must be a famous writer. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Oh, I doubt I would ever reach such levels of fame. I just dabble, really. Well, I hope you include me in your next literary effort, Mr. Tanabe. Tanabe Eiji. Or is it Eiji? I'm just gonna go with Eiji. Alright, Mr. Tanabe, I'll remember that. And he nodded as his head determinedly like a chicken peck of words. Oh, okay. Screwed that one up. That was a cruel simile, and I chastised myself for thinking such a thing. I hadn't realized it, spending so much of my life inside the city, but I would be quite a snob. That was another reason I told myself why going to the countryside would be good. It was always useful to see new sights and broaden my horizons. I do want to go to Japan. I do want to go to Japan. Japan is one of the few places that I feel like I'm thinking that if I were to move out of the country, that's where I would go. And it would actually be out in the countryside, not in the city. No, I do not want to live in cities, period. Open my mind. The moon up ahead, shining the apex of the sky like a pearl, split the swirling fog and snow with pale rays of light. Man, this is nice. In the dark, the moonlight looked lethal, ethereal. It was the kind of moon so perfectly round and full that could drive one to madness. You better include me in your next novel, Mr. Tanabe, said the driver with his distinct gap-toothed smile, and I found myself thinking that maybe I would. He wasn't a character that was easy to forget. The teeth helped. I'm Hanada Yosuke. A pleasure to meet you. Oh no, the pleasure's all mine. I demurred, and the young taxi driver Yosuke tittered. Incredible. A writer saying it's a pleasure to make my acquaintance. I never thought I'd live to see the day. He sounded so bemused by the idea I smiled. You know, if you really want something interesting to write about, for your next novel, of course, there's no better sending the Azumi Inn, said Yosuke companionably. After a lull in the conversation, it's beautiful around there. Not that I have much of an eye for it. Still, all the snow on the hills and this quaint little building out in the middle of nowhere. Very pretty. Yes, it sounds delightful. Lonely too, I think, but that should suit you down to the ground. A bit of peace and quiet helps stimulate the imagination, right? That is the general idea. All the noise in the big city can be a bit. I searched for the correct word, but I couldn't find it. Maybe it had been stolen by the snow. Oh, I can imagine, said Yusuke, sensing my discomfort. I've lived around here all my life, but still, this big city, eh? The big city indeed. I'd love to go there once or twice, just to look around, but I don't think I could ever settle somewhere like that. From what I've heard, there are too many buildings and far too many people. I like the peace and quiet, though even I'd get a bit antsy if I had to stay in the Azumi Inn too long. I don't know how Miss Kakiuchi. Oh, hold on. Let me try to get the pronunciation right. Kakayuchi. I'm guessing Miss Kakayuchi. That's it. Okay, Kakayuchi. That's how I'm guessing. I'm probably butchering it, but oh well. The proper proprietress? Huh? One of the sames, said Yusuke with a nod. She's been living up there for, gosh, I don't know how long. Maybe longer than I've been alive. Because as long as there's been the Azumi Inn, there's been Miss Kakayuchi. And she used to run it with her husband, so maybe she wasn't too lonely before, but he's dead now. Died years ago. I looked at Yusuke intrigued. Ideas began to grow inside my head, just like acorns sprouting to proud oak trees. What happened to Mr. Kakayuchi? I asked as casually as I could muster, but my efforts were probably in vain. I'd already told Yusuke I was a writer, and people never trust writers. At least, they shouldn't. We crowd around misery like vultures and pick the bones clean until there's nothing left. Yusuke, who didn't seem to be the most intelligent of people, was still sharp enough because he grinned. It was a full wolfish grin, and all too fitting for the large pearly moon. So you're interested, are you, Mr. Tanabe? He asked. It is an interesting story. I can't help myself. And rather well known, too. There are all kinds of stories about the Azumi Inn, as I said, and Miss Kakayuchi, not all of them are pleasant, and I don't believe half of them, but they're very interesting. Not very pleasant. Oh boy, I don't like that one. I should let you know before we continue that I don't write crime stories. Ah, well, more's the pity, said Yusuke with a shrug. When you get a pretty young woman and a dead husband, there are bound to be rumors, but the truth is a lot simpler. He was old, Mr. Kakayuchi, a good 2 decades older than his wife. Really? Oh, wow. Okay. 20 years older, huh? And, you know, when you're old and you live up in the mountains, chances are you'll catch a cold at some point and you won't be able to fend off. So he died, just like that. Just like that. Rather anticlimactic, all things considered, but people love talk. Excuse me. You can't stop them talking, even in a place like this. Yusuke smiled. I'm talking of myself. My fiancée, Hatsumi, always berates me. Still, she can't hate it that much, or she wouldn't have agreed to marry me. You have a fiancé? Congratulations. Yusuke thanked me, smiling sheepishly. Honestly, I feel a bit sorry for Miss Kakayuchi. All things considered, she must be awfully lonely up there without a husband, and the residents of Higashikawa. Oh yeah, Higashikawa aren't too keen on her either. Does she have anybody else? She has a daughter, a sweet little thing, Reiko. Miss Kakayuchi has always been very protective, and no wonder after what happened to her husband. Reiko? I nodded my head. I would have to file this away for future reference. Does she have any staff? Okay. Ah, right. Oh, she employs a few girls. My Hatsumi was one of them, but it's a small business. She doesn't get many customers, you see. I see, I said, and I did see. I looked out the window and I could see the hills covered in snow, with yet more snow falling, and I saw only too clearly. I couldn't imagine many people coming to the Azumi Inn, not even those who were passionate about skiing. There were places to stay that were close to the main roads, where you didn't have to hire a taxi and wend your way through the mountains for over a half an hour to reach your destination. Oh wow, if Sachiko were here, I knew what she would say. None of this was very sensible. Still, as I wasn't a sensible man, but a sensitive one, this kind of location would, as Suzuki had said, suit me down to the ground. Alright. Can I get a picture of the place? Oh! Okay. I mean, if that's Gakiyuki, she doesn't look too bad for her age. But I'm gonna have to end it here, guys. Oh man, so far it's quite interesting. Little slow-paced. It's a bit slow-paced, but hey, all the better. But anyways, that's all I have to say, guys. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, press that like button, like it, and as always, stay active and stay connected, guys. I'll see you on the next one. This is Rickon signing out. Bye, y'all.